Hello, hello, and welcome to the wastelands, where everyone's a little mad and crazy is thinking anything is impossible to defeat. Because today we are going to face up against a dark creature in the lake. So apparently, Alan has written a way to beat it by letting Thomas Zane give something to Cynthia Weaver, I think her name was. And she kept it in the light room where I'm now going, but because. And of course, you're coming to crash the stream again. Every time when I start working, you're here. I do need to work, you know. Anyway, as I was saying, she kept it in the light room, but because the helicopter with Sarah and Barry crashed, he went out of the safe pipe to try and find them. And that is about where I am now. And I need one more page, and this cat is bothering me. Anyway.
She knew how to stay safe.
Luna? Nee. Nee, Luna? Nee. You know you're being a bit annoying. I do love you, little cat. I do love you. But you're kind of bothering. You know that? You're kind of in the way. And that is how my stream always gets hijacked. By Gato. But you don't wear boots, do you? You're not chased by death. Okay. Let's see if that is enough attention for her. Oh my god. There we go. Now I just gotta keep lookout for a log. Hopefully I can find it, because that's where the last page of this chapter is. No, Luna. Bird. Bird is the word. Also, I didn't even realize it was right here. Let's see if I can grab that page. And that should be the last nightmare page on this chapter. And it is. So let's take a look at what these pages say.
Nightingale tried to make sense of the manuscript. It was disjointed and strange. He didn't understand half of it, but it all rang true. Impossibly true. He took out his hip flask when he reached the page that described how he reached the page that made him take out his hip flask. It wasn't the booze that made his mind reel.
Okay.
Nightingale felt the situation veering out of his control, but the gun at least felt steady in his hands. He was ready to fire, resolved that he would let this happen over his dead body. And yet he hesitated. He had seen this moment before, read it in the page. He was transfixed by the déjà vu and the horror that he was a character in a story someone had written. Then the monstrous presence burst in behind him and dragged him into the night.
We did see that at the beginning of this chapter.
The darkness that wore Barbara Jagger's face was furious. The story in the manuscript had been making it stronger all the time, but now the light had set the writer free and hurt it, weakened it. It was only a matter of days before the dark presence would be strong again, but meanwhile, it would be difficult to recapture the writer.
Thank you, Thomasine. Cynthia's work.
Cynthia Weaver worked hard, following her obsessive rituals, sometimes fighting them, always giving in to them in the end. She haunted the halls of Bright Falls' abandoned power plant. She marked her caches with light-sensitive paint that could only be seen by eyes that had been touched by darkness and saved by light like she'd been. She was preparing defenses and supply lines for the war she knew would come. The war between the forces of light and darkness.
I think you're making this a bit bigger than it actually is, Wake.
For it to be free, the dark presence needed the writer to finish the story. Again and again, the story let it get frustratingly close to the writer without letting it capture him. It was bound by the events depicted in the manuscript, but it could pursue the writer indirectly, put others on the task, and stop those who would help him. It took over everything in its path, made them its puppets, and sent them after Alan Wake.
Okay. Alice trapped in the dark.
Alice had screamed until she had no voice left to scream. Around her, the darkness was alive. It was cold and wet and malevolent and without end. She was a prisoner, trapped in the dark place. The terror would have burned her mind out, but one thing made her hang on. She could sense Alan in the dark. She could hear him. She could see the words he was writing as flickering shadows. He sensed her too. He was trying to work his way to her.
They have a great bond with each other, that's good at least.
Barry was in his element, making calls, making things happen, even if he didn't entirely know what those things were. He wouldn't let the hot sheriff chick down. Even if every noise he heard from outside, and he heard plenty, made him jump. He had only paused to text Al a message, told him to hurry up. Suddenly, Barry froze in mid-dial. A window broke somewhere in the building, and then the lights went out.
Oh boy. Well, he did.
Barry got back
Saved
to his
it.
feet inside the Bright Falls General Store and dusted himself off. Right next to the cans of baked beans was a locked case filled with flare
Baked
guns.
beans.
And yet here was a conveniently placed barrel of crowbars. Barry's smile widened as he realized that this was the classic movie scene where the hero had to gear up and arm himself to the teeth. Barry threw himself into the wall.
I think Barry has read too many books. But hey, I like Barry, so I'm not gonna complain too much.
The story I had written in the cabin had come true. Touched by the dark presence, I had written a horror story, but the end was still missing. The story was incomplete, and the last unfinished page of the manuscript still sat in the typewriter in the cabin study. If I could get back there, if I could read the page, then I could write my own ending to this story and save Alice.
Oh boy. That is a risky plan.
Starting to relax. Maybe they could turn this into a win yet. Suddenly, there was a piercing sound, like a table saw gone wild, as 100 birds made out of shadows swarmed into the rotor. The chopper bucked wildly and the board lit up, telling her what she already knew. They were going down. Barry Wheeler screamed next to her.
Zane's shoebox.
Thomas Zane knew he had to remove all that had made this horror possible, including himself. That was the only way to banish the dark presence he had unleashed and now looked at him through the eyes of his dead love. But he also knew that despite his best efforts, it might someday return. So even as he wrote himself and his work out of existence, He added a loophole as insurance, an exception to the rule. Anything of his stored in a shoebox would remain.
Okay. Cynthia on her way to the dam.
Through the water pipe alone, Cynthia was angry at the writer. Foolish young man, taking unnecessary risks. And the way he broke the rules. Didn't he understand what was at stake? Since the terrible days in the 70s, she hadn't wavered once, as hard as it had been. She was tired of protecting the town all these long years, and now only wanted to rest.
Well, you're going to be able to rest soon. Well, I say that, but I'm probably going to do more achievement hunting, so I'm going to jump from chapter to chapter.
The poet in the muse, lyrics by old gods of Asgard, the chorus. And now to see your love set free, you will need the witch's cabin key. Find the lady of the light, gone mad with the night. Find the lady of the light, still raving in the night. That's how you reshape destiny.
The Children of the Elder God, lyrics 1.
Children of the Elder God lyrics by old gods of Asgard. The first verse and chorus. Warriors, torchbearers, come redeem our dreams. Shine a light upon this night of otherworldly themes. Odin's might be your guide, divorce you from the sane. Hammer's way will have its say, rise up in their name. O memory and thought, jet black and clawed, children of the Elder God, scourge of light upon the dark.
Those lyrics are dope, though.
The poet in the muse, lyrics by old gods of Asgard, the chorus.
Oh.
Children of the Elder God lyrics by old gods of Asgard, the second verse and chorus. Scratching hag, you can rake your claws and gnash your crooked teeth. You've taken slaves like ocean waves, now feel the ocean seethe. Father Tor bless the war between the dark and light. In their songs let their wrongs bring disillusion's night. O memory and thought, jet black and clawed, children of the Elder God, scourge of light upon the dark.
Okay, these are actually pretty dope lyrics. Anyway, that's all for these. I do have a bunch of missing pages here, so I am going to set those manuscripts up for the ones I'm missing. Truth, clicker, departure. Okay. Okay, they're set up so that I can look for them when I need them. And now let's go save my friends. Oh boy. Anyway.
Barry! Sheriff Breaker! Sarah!
The crash site looked bad, but as far as I could tell, the wreck was empty.
That is good. Flare gun ammo. Oh, I do have a flare. Oh, I have a lot of flares. Oh. toilet room.
Barry! Barry! Hang in there, I'm coming!
Right there. You know when to make an entrance, Wade. We were ready to make like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I have a different ending in mind.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
I knew you'd be all right.
How's that?
The flaming eye of Mordor?
Laugh it up, funny man. Didn't we have somewhere to go?
Weaver will meet us at the dam.
Oh, there's another supply here? Seems like it. Alright.
When you spend most of your night running uphill while a crazy bunch of demon hicks try to take your head off with an axe, you know your helicopter crash landed in Night Springs.
This is a bad idea. I know we're gonna regret this.
Yet we are still going to go through
We
with
should
it.
get that gym membership.
You see those lights? That's the elevator we need to take.
What the hell is that thing? It's everywhere. Oh crap!
Nothing moves like that. It's impossible.
Ah! Al! Do something!
He's too fast. I can't get shot.
There! No, there! Al, they're all over the place!
How many of them are there? Where'd that one go?
Ah, this can't be happening!
Whee!
Was that it? Are we safe?
That was... wow. I think we're okay.
I think we're pretty badass.
Al, I got a bad feeling.
Let's keep our eyes open.
Please,
Alright.
Al, let's just stay here where it's safe.
Is anywhere safe as long as this thing
Wait,
keeps
call
hunting
the
us?
elevator. I'm keeping watch.
I think I hear something moving around.
Heads up! Here they come!
Oh no! Oh no!
They're coming! We have to hold them off!
Oh. Wrong gun.
Oh no! Oh no!
Why are you going, oh no?
I swear this is the slowest elevator in the world!
Just hold on!
Come on, get in.
Now, hit the button.
Oh boy. I mean, you can hit the button yourself.
We're almost there. There's an entrance into the dam at the top. What's the plan, Wake?
Well, Weaver's crazy, but she's got something Zane left behind. Something to fix this.
Gee, could you be a little more vague?
Thomas Zane? Seriously? Might as well be Paul Bunyan or Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, he was real.
Let's be careful, okay?
Oh, jeez, I hate this.
Okay, Wake. There's a button over there that opens the door. I think something's broken. Hold the button down so we can get in. Wait! We can get to the dam through here. What's happening out there?
You guys go ahead and find Weaver. She should be in the dam now. I'll have to make it alone through the top.
Okay, Wake. Move up. Don't get yourself killed.
Ow, please, be careful.
I'll take good care of Barry, Wake. You just look after yourself.
You gotta be kidding me.
Whoa.
Down, boy.
I don't think that's a dog. I'm not sure Down Boy is going to help here. But hey, you do you, Wake. You do you. Well, I better run. Don't look back. Just run.
I was ridiculously outnumbered. The searchlight could even the odds.
You're not gonna stop me. funny how you drove a car to stop me, but ended up creating a path I could run along. Whee! And again. Whee! Keep running.
Quickly now, inside!
There we go.
You made it. Well done. Glad I was wrong. It was a foolish chance to take. Don't worry about the noise. We're safe here. I have looked after the Weather Group for many, many years now. There's no shadow in the moonlit room. Our is fail-safe. Orphan rooms are numbered and changed regularly based on their make and model.
Right.
I mean, can you blame her, Barry? After everything we've been through.
There's an old army base at Raincoat Point, north of here. It was active during the Second World War. They operated here back then. They must have built this.
Yes, they did. It's my place now.
I mean, it is impressive that you took this over. Okay, I was just checking something. Not what I meant to do.
Take it, and I won't need to worry about the room anymore, because 6 and 33 and 118 need changing soon, and I don't want to climb up the ladder to change them because it's very late, and I'm tired. And if you take it, I won't have to do that anymore.
The page was autobiographical, a memory from my childhood. But I didn't write this. It was a page written by Thomas Zane. None of them were supposed to exist anymore.
Alan, 7 years old, would fight sleep to the bitter end. When he did sleep, he soon woke up, screaming, the nightmares fresh in his mind. One evening, his mother, sitting by his bed, offered him an old light switch. She called it the clicker, and flicking the switch would turn on a magical light that would drive the beast away. To imbue the talisman with all possible power, she added that it had been given to her by Alan's father. Alan never knew him, and anything of his took on mythical proportions in his mind. With the clicker firmly in his hand, Alan finally slept like a baby. Now, almost 30 years later, Alan thought of this as he stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, the clicker in his hand. He took a deep breath and jumped.
My mind swirled. I'd given the clicker to Alice, yet it was here. Zane had written it into existence in a story I had written. I can get to her now. I can finish this.
It's a good song.
Previously on Alan Wake, I wrote a horror story that has come true. Thomas Zane did the same in the 70s.
You will go no further.
If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story. No one will survive.
You knew Zane! Thomas Zane! You're the Lady of the Light in the song!
He left something behind to help me. The clicker.
Alan thought of this as he stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, the clicker in his hand. He took a deep breath and jumped.
I can get to her now. I can finish this.
Nice. New York City 2 years ago.
I had a hangover. My head was about to explode and the light hurt my eyes. I needed my sunglasses and painkillers to dull the pain. In one of my finer moments of self-deception, I swore to quit drinking. The sunglasses made the world look bearable. Now I could keep my eyes open without feeling like a vampire in the sun.
And painkillers.
Those worked fast. The prospect of being awake started to seem bearable again. There was a message waiting for me on the machine.
You have one new message. Ow! Are you still asleep? Wakey, wakey! You should have your show on your TiVo. If Alice wasn't too mad to record it. As she called me earlier and really chewed me out.
Alright, drive safe. Get home safely.
But parties are a part of this business. Al, look, I'm saying this as your friend. She's not doing your career any favors by trying to run your life like that, okay? I'll talk to you later, Al. Watch the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Harry Gallet Show!
Thank you to everybody. We have a great show tonight. I've been talking with the best-selling author Alan Wake about his new book, The Sudden Stop. Yeah, good read. Go buy it. No, it is a good read. Look, I'm gonna be honest here. Is that wise? No, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I got people who give me the lowdown on books. I'm a busy guy. But this one, I actually read from cover to cover. I mean, I'm a big fan. Wow, thanks. Now, this might be a spoiler for those who haven't read the book yet. Based on the sales figures, the 2 people out there who haven't read the book yet. But this last book is all about the death.
This is
of the main
interesting.
character, New York detective Alex Casey. Now, there's been a lot of outrage about this. Why the hell did you kill Casey? What the hell were you thinking, man?
Good riddance. No, seriously though. 7 years and 6 books is a long time. He was a gloomy guy to spend all your working hours with, and it was a good run. But it's time to explore new things. My next book will be a departure from the old for me.
You selfish bastard, always thinking of yourself. Well, you've certainly given us a lot of entertainment over the years. And now that you mention it, Casey was a gloomy guy. Never had much luck with his love life, lady. Was that autobiographical in any way?
Yeah, no kidding. Casey's lady friends tended to die on him. With Casey, it was all about his pain. No, nothing autobiographical about that. I'm a happily married man. My wife is my muse.
Well, congratulations. That's great to hear. So, how's the publicity tour been treating you?
Good, great. But I gotta say, I'm glad to be back home in New York.
Well, you've certainly been on the news a lot lately. Lots of parties and, you got into a fight with some paparazzi.
Oh, man. Well, that guy was really in my face. I lost my temper. I know that wasn't cool.
Well, you are famous for that temper.
Well, I did also write several books.
Well, your latest novel is called The Sudden Stop, and it's in bookstores now. Go get it. That means the two of you out there who haven't bought it yet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you tonight. I want to thank all our guests for the evening. Alan Wake, Sam Lake. Once more, do the face for a Sam. There we go. And our musical guests, Poets of the Fall. Thank you.
At least I've been funny. I told myself I could live with that.
You watch the show?
I didn't say anything stupid if that's what you want to know. Are you going to start with me about drinking now?
You know what? Go back to sleep, Alan.
What? Now you can't even talk to me?
Well, this morning I was angry because you said you'd be home at midnight and you showed up at 7 a.m. and passed out in mid-sentence. Now I'm over it. Are you angry?
This goddamn tour. It's gotten out of hand.
Oh, honey. It's almost over, right?
Also,
Back to normal, and you can start writing again.
I'm sorry, honey.
Alan.
I'm gonna say it in a moment.
Just take a shower and go back to bed, huh?
Yeah, you're right, honey. I'm sorry. Once this is over, let's go away together. A vacation. Just you and me. Some peace and quiet.
Okay, so on a side note, Sam Lake, that appeared in that interview, is the creator of this game and head of the Remedy
Somehow,
Studios.
the clicker was the key to the cabin. I had to return to Cauldron Lake to save Alice. I'm going back to the lake to finish this. I'm going to write an ending to the story in the manuscript on my own terms, to make it all right.
Why can't you just write it here?
The last page is still in the typewriter. I need to read it first. Everything needs to be just right. Zane tried to cut some corners, and it didn't end well.
Okay, ready when you are.
I'm sorry, Sarah, but I need to do this alone. Barry, take her gun. Miss Weaver, close the door when I leave.
Good luck, Al.
See you later.
It's going to turn out to be much later than originally anticipated. Also, that was not the light I ended
It
with.
was warm and sunny. I'd flicked the switch of the clicker. Had it done this? I didn't stop to question it. I had to take advantage of the sunlight to get to the lake. On Zane's page, I had stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, about to use the clicker. That's where I was headed. Alone, in daylight, surrounded by the beauty of the Pacific Northwest landscape. It was hard not to let doubt creep in one last time. I could still chalk everything up to a dream, a delusion. I had enough imagination to make up something like this, having been in the cabin all this time, trapped in a story inside my head, gone mad from grief over Alice's death like Hartman had claimed. There would be no way of knowing. I told myself it didn't really matter. My course was set.
Nice. Now, just take a quick look and investigate which manuscript pages I need. Departure. The dark presence wants to stop Wake. So I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4 nightmare pages. 1, 2, 3, 4 nightmare pages. And Sarah and Barry in a well-lit room. So there are 3 lyrics pages apparently. Sarah and Barry in a well-lit room, and Zane's poem. So let's see. Okay, that is nightmare page 1. Inside the majestic hotel. Time for some reckless driving. And time to stick with tradition. And change car every time I can. I mean, the first isn't that big of a change. It's mostly going from a green to a red one. Is there a way inside? Looked like there could be. Doesn't look like there is anything inside. So I do need to get to the Majestic Hotel for the first page, but it was already dark in the video. So I wonder if I just have to pass by on foot here.
Darkness, it touched me. There was a link between us. Always would be. I could feel its presence again, getting closer.
I will kill your wife.
And I got a car and a page. Also, this looks like the place from the nightmare. Okay, so I found the Majestic. Okay. I got that. Next page is the next lyrical page. Inside the lit up farmhouse. Okay, so that will be up ahead.
Based on the signature in the motel register, Agent Nightingale had stayed here, in room number 2.
Yeah, maybe he has supplies. Ooh, shotgun ammo and shotgun. I will need all the supplies I can get.
This had obviously been the room where Agent Nightingale had stayed when he hadn't been busy harassing me.
And flashbangs, that's good.
Look after yourself and your workers.
Could have fooled me.
Any more supplies? I knew there was one. No other car? Oh, wait, there is one. So now I need to find a farmhouse. I don't see a farmhouse. This isn't gonna be pretty. I got a flare at least. Just take it one step at a time, and I'll get there.
What the hell?
Oh, these are actually called poltergeists. Interesting. Just take it easy. Not this way. Really?
Nice to see you too.
And another car. Oh, that explains it. Okay. So where is that page? Maybe there? Yep. The next page is Sarah and Barry in the valet room. I think that's the only one I'm missing. Sarah and Barry in the valet room. Yes, and then two more lyric pages, two more nightmare pages, I believe. So let me check. Nightmare page and nightmare page. Okay, so this one. Drive until you run into a dead end to find this page. Okay, so that's the truck. That's a dead end. Crushed tunnel. Oh, I see the page. Well, I think it's kind of. I think I understand why I missed this one. Gonna take a short break. Be back for food and time for snacks. I will be back. And back. And back. So let's give a moment for the ads to run out. And then we can continue fighting whatever this presence is. Anyway, let us continue. As I accidentally mute the stream. Anyway. So I know where the next page is. I mean, not the smartest move to come out when I'm in the light. But yes. I thought I saw a hidden cache. Guess I'm gonna have to go on foot further. Finally. Okay, more supplies. That's good. So keep driving till the end of the road. Well, apparently I found all the normal pages, but I still have 2 more nightmare pages. So the next nightmare page is... Find this page on the second floor of the building right outside the junkyard. Okay. Press a button, enemies come through. It's on the desk. Okay. I think I know where that is. I think. think that's here. I think I got more hunting rifle ammo right now. More batteries, can always use more of those. And I think this is where the manuscript page is. So press button, becomes true. That's resolved. Ooh, flashbang. Manuscript page, flare gun. And now the last nightmare page that I need is behind the station. You need to power up. Behind the generator. Okay, so that should be the last page. I technically didn't need it anymore, but, you know. Oh. Nice. More supplies. Okay. Guess I maxed out on flares. But yeah, that door's open, so I need to go to the next part. It's going to be a bumpy ride. You're gonna come to life, aren't you? on, come on. And a lot of these cars are getting ruined. Alright, hi Shady, welcome home. How was work today? How are you? We're on our way to collect the last page, by the way. Doink. Also, this is why I don't have a driver's license. Also, that and, well, you know, there are no cars in the wastelands. At least no functioning ones anymore.
When I told Barry my plan back in the well-lit room, I'd acted as if I knew what I was doing. I didn't. I was operating on the shifting logic of a dream. I had to fight my way to the lake through the horrors of the night. I had to flick an old battered light switch imbued with childhood magic. I had to write a happy ending to a horror story. I had to save my wife from the dark prison she was being held in.
Something tells me I'm about to have a big fight here.
I will never give her to you.
Yeah. Okay, now let me quickly do a look if I have any supplies I missed. Doesn't look like it. Just need to make sure, because I need to be stocked up for the road ahead. Ah, here are some things I missed. Shotgun. Don't think I have a lot of ammo for a hunting rifle, so... Oh, it's a normal shotgun. I think I'll stick with my combat shotgun. One moment. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's see if we can get to that last page. That's not the last page. It is a page, but it's one I already have. No, nothing here. I thought there was a door that opened. Apparently it wasn't.
I could see Mirror Peak in the distance. That's where Cauldron Lake was.
Well, oh boy. Why can I climb this? Oh, I think I see why. Well, before I do this, let me first see what's down here. Ah, that's what's here. Good thing I checked because I can use more supplies. Okay. Birds are gonna attack any time now. Never mind. Ow. That's a long way to go. What was that? So before I go there, I want to make sure there's nothing here because I'm looking for a specific spot. Nope, nothing here. Slowly getting close to the end. Also, Shady, I actually got a question because I'm curious. In Swater, what is your group character going to be? Your bounty hunter or The one you made yesterday or your Sith Warrior? The agent. Alright. Then if you want after stream, I'll play through then after the stream I'll play for you through my Sith Warrior run. I actually waited for you so you could enjoy the choices I made. Not the gun I thought I was holding. So it's not here. Oh boy. No, because there wasn't the generator I'm looking for. If I'm talking to myself, it's because I'm trying to remember what I saw in the video. Well, they are starting to throw weird things at me. I hope I haven't missed the page. Would be a bummer to have missed it at this point. But I haven't really found that specific generator, so I would doubt it. The darkness wears her face. Oh, supplies. I think it's this one. Yes. And with that, I have all the pages. So let's listen to the last chapter's pages, which honestly disappears to be all there is. I think so. Yeah, because arrows, no arrows. Okay, let's go.
The Dark Presence was no longer trying to capture the writer so he could create the ending it wanted. The writer knew too much. He was too strong. And he carried a weapon left behind by Thomas Zane, something that could hurt it. Now, the darkness was doing everything in its power to simply stop the writer from ever reaching Cauldron Lake and the dark place it came from.
Okay, the trial of the Dark
The
Presence.
bottom of Cauldron Lake was a graveyard of things the lake had claimed in one way or another over the decades. The Dark Presence brought them up in its wake, scattering the rotten waterlogged hull of an old boat here, the remains of a long-ago crashed airplane there, trees shattered under the impacts. The earth groaned. It didn't even notice.
Thomas Zane's last dive.
Cut its heart out, but it didn't die. The thing that wore Barbara's face kept crooning sweet nothings, sugar-laced with poison. He put on the suit, untied the monster from the chair. The thing in his arms thrashed weakly, but he held fast. He stepped outside, off the pier, and into the dark water. A sinking pinprick of light descending toward a bottom that never came.
The Dark Place.
The dark place I found myself in was unlike anything I could ever have imagined. It wasn't solid. It flowed. It was conceptual and subjective. For someone else, an artist in another field, it would have been very different. I could sense the story of the manuscript all around me, the words and ideas floating in the air, poised to become real.
The way through the dark place.
After Zane had gone, I stood alone in the shifting dream that was the dark place. I had to find a way to the cabin. I'd written myself a way through this place in the manuscript. I followed the idea of a path. I'd written myself across the ocean that blocked my way, and with that, there was a bridge to the island beyond. The idea of the cabin flickered in the underwater darkness. I willed the cabin to be real, and it was.
The Poet and the Muse, Lyrics 1.
The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard. The first verse. There's an old tale wrought with mystery of Tom the poet and his muse, and a magic lake which gave a life to the words the poet used. Now the muse, she was his happiness, and he rhymed about her grace, and told her stories of treasures deep beneath the blackened waves, till in the stillness of one dawn, still in its misty crown, the muse she went down to the lake, and in the waves she drowned.
That's a dark story.
The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard, the second verse. The poet came down to the lake to call out to his dear. When there was no answer, he was overcome with fear. He searched in vain for his treasure lost, and too soon the night would fall. Only his own echo would wail back at his call. And when he swore to bring back his love by stories he'd create, nightmares shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake.
It's a good song, though. Hi, Luna.
The third verse. In the dead of night she came to him with darkness in her eyes, wearing a mourning gown, sweet words as her disguise. He took her in without a word, for he saw his grave mistake, and vowed them both to silence deep beneath the lake. Now, if it's real or just a dream, one mystery remains. For it is said on moonless nights they may still haunt this place.
You know I'm busy, girl. You always come whenever I'm busy. You're never here when I'm not. Well, you are often here. I do like you here, but I wish you'd hang out more when I'm not working.
In the end, Barry wasn't going to shoot Sarah. They both knew that. Once she had no chance of catching up to Wake, Barry gave up the gun and sat down on the floor, shielding his face from the merciless glare of the well-lit room. I don't think I'm ever going to see him again, he said in a weak voice. Sarah didn't have it in her to be mad at him. Besides, he was probably right.
Yeah, that is probably going to be the case.
Barry wasn't going to shoot
Wait.
Sarah.
And Zane's
I
poem.
first heard the poem in a dream, recited by a strange UFO-like light. I'd read it again in the cabin in a book by Thomas Zane. For he did not know that beyond the lake he called home lies a deeper, darker ocean green, where waves are both wilder and more serene. To its ports I've been, to its ports I've been.
Yeah, just mask kitty kisses. Whenever she wants to, at least. Boop. Boop the snoot. Well, I don't know if this is any consolation, Shady, but don't forget, there is an Alan Wake too. Oh, wait. I think... Oh, no, because that is a page I kept last, according to the video. The way through the dark place. Yeah, I already have that one. Okay, anyway. So I've got all the pages. There are other things I will need to collect. I think, I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna see how popular the idea is. But I do want to try and go for an achievement run, trying to get all the achievements. It's a fairly short game, so I can probably finish it. Still shorter than H was. But that just means that his suffering goes on longer, right? Well, kind of. To be fair, the ending is interesting. And I like the ending as the idea of it was a standalone game. Now I'm even more fascinated about the ending because of the fact that there is a second game, so I'm actually very excited to see where this goes. Ow. I hope you can cool down. It's fucking hot outside. Yeah, I don't. It wasn't that bad here, but it is getting hot for spring. Jesus. Yeah, that is really effing hot. Jesus. This is going to be a messy fight. Yeah, but I hope you can stay cool, Shady. Let's go up. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's very fair. I hope Edie can stay cool. Because she's one cool baby. Okay.
Turn back now. Do as you're told.
Alright, take your time.
Alice never loved you.
Ow. We will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. See you all in a moment. Hello, and welcome back. So without further ado, let's continue. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when hope is frail? Somehow you will when you believe.
You were having a bad dream. It was just another nightmare.
No,
Everything's fine. You're home.
it wasn't a dream.
Everything's fine.
Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on!
Shh, baby. The power's out. There's no light. Come back to bed and I'll make you forget all about your fear in the dark.
My fear? It's your fear. Why aren't you afraid? You're not Alice. Turn the lights on now. Where's the clicker? What did you do with it?
Alan, you're scaring me now. Come back to bed. Are you taking your pills? Do you want me to call Dr. Hartman? I read your manuscript. It's brilliant. Departure is your best foot yet. You're a genius. I'm so proud of you. Come back to bed. We'll talk more about it in the morning. Come back to bed, Alan.
Come back to bed, Tom.
Look, it's Thomas Zane.
You must find your way to the cabin. It stands in your way. It won't let you pass. It has no heart. It's filled with darkness. You must fill its heart with light. Don't mind him. He's Mr. Scott. Your friends will meet him when you're gone. Use the clicker.
The barrel. Also, whenever something is revealed, you can hear. Wait, what? I did not know that, Shady. I started singing that because the clicker is about having faith in his childhood. Well, another coincidence. As I was saying, you can actually hear him typing it all out as I reveal it.
I followed the idea of a path.
I know.
I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm leaving you, Albert. I met someone. I'm in love with someone else.
Alice? No, what do you say? You can't...
You don't love me. How could you? You don't even love yourself. All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
No, I love you more than anything in the world. You're my muse.
I'm not.
Who are you? What have you done with my Alice?
Alan? What are you doing? Put the light back on! What are you doing, Alan? Stop! Put the light back on!
It wasn't true. Nothing like that had ever happened.
I mean, I don't think any of these spats are really safe.
I had written myself across the ocean.
You're not my Barbara.
Tom, let me go. I promise to be good. Please, untie me, you naughty boy. I will help you write your masterpiece. I will love you forever.
No, you're not Barbara Jagger. I made a terrible mistake. I should have never written you back. You came back wrong. Your heart is filled with darkness.
Put that knife away, Thomas. Put it down.
Heart is filled with darkness. Cut it out. Take you back to the depths you came from. Filled with darkness.
I willed the cabin to be real.
Take your time.
Get away from me, you hag! Where am I? Let me go!
Alice, I'm coming.
Your husband refused to do as he was told. All he had to do was write what I wanted him to write. Now it's too late. It's his fault. You'll stay here forever.
I'm going to quickly look something up. This is a weird place.
Now you will never get her back. I am much older than you. Older than your first work of art. I will find a new face to wear. Someone else to dream me free.
This is... Well, this is a pretty heavy story.
I could feel Alice's presence close by. I understood what I had to do now. I knew how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything has a price. That's where Zane had gone wrong. There's a long journey through the night back into the light.
Okay.
Alice? Alice? Oh no!
Here's the answer you've been looking for, Shady.
Alan? Alan?
There you have your answer, Shady. Give it a minute. Thor and Odin. Rose.
It's an ocean.
Alan, wake up.
There you have your utterance. To Major Tom. To Major Tom. But, no. Alan hasn't drowned.
Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control to Major Tom. 7. 6. Commencing countdown, engines on.
I do really love this song. Then again, I do love a lot of David Bowie music. Ground control to Major Tom. So, well, so let me look something up. I'm doing some research because I'm curious, because I need to make a choice, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to approach it. So here's the thing. I'll finish. It's also a fitting song if you think about it. Lots of credits. Then again, a lot of work went into this game, which really paid off because it's a very great game. Okay, so one of the things that I'm thinking of doing in order to give the full explanation is before beginning Alan Wake 2, there is technically a few things we would need to play through in order to get the full picture. One of the things that I'm going to do after I do the achievements runs is Control. Because the Control has Alan Wake DLC that is going to be important into weaving the story together in a comprehensible way. The thing that I don't know what to do about is that in 2012 another game was released which is and isn't connected. So, in order to help explain and to answer your question fully, Shady, Alan understood that Thomas Zane made a mistake that he didn't make. He gave himself up so that his wife could escape the dark place in the lake. And he stayed behind. And since then, he has been trying to write himself an exit, a way to escape the dark place. There are two one of those attempts is that he writes himself into an episode of Night Springs. That is the game you have seen me play it, but I don't know about playing it on stream. The game that I'm talking about is Alan Wake American Nightmare, which is a continuously looping game of 3 levels with gradually increasing difficulty, more weapons, things to find, but ultimately it's just a repeat of like 3 or 4 levels that you continuously play through endlessly because it's a more action oriented game and there are manuscripts and there is a character in there that is important. But I'm not a huge fan of that type of gameplay. Because ultimately, even if I end up streaming it and going for the achievement, it's just going to be a lot of repetition and a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. And even if I'm grinding achievement, if it's just 5 levels, it's gonna get old really quick. So either I can grit my teeth and go through it, because it is still a game that has some ties to it. Maybe not the whole of the gameplay story matters, but there is a manuscript in it that might matter. There is characters in there that is going to be important for Alan Wake 2. So I could grit my teeth and try and play as much as I can before I get bored and move on. Or, well, another thing that I can do is look up a video for all of the for what we need to know before playing Alan Wake 2. Doing that does have the inherent risk of having some spoilers for Control, for the Control DLC. But it might be more interesting. But if you're also like, let's look up the video, then I have a video. I don't know how complete it's going to be, but it's apparently everything you need to know before playing Alan Wake 2. So I will boot up for the moment, and then we can take a look at it together. So this is a video by Gaming Bolt. The full story of Alan Wake, everything you need to know before you play Alan Wake 2. Now again, this might contain spoilers for Control, but this is so that we can avoid playing American Nightmare. Know what we need to know. It's a 15 minutes video, so, and if you have any questions, I'll also try and answer it.
The last 13 years, Remedy Entertainment is finally about to release Alan Wake 2. And for fans of the original 2010 psychological thriller cult classic, the excitement is palpable. But of course, given how long it's been since the launch of the first game, there are obviously going to be many who will be playing Alan Wake 2 without much knowledge of its predecessor. As such, to help you catch up in time for the sequel, or to help refresh your memory, as the case may be,
I also think, I'm not entirely sure, but judging by the gameplay that I'm seeing, I think that they are using the remake, which was a mess when I played it, because I kept getting visual glitches, but at least that's past now.
Here we're going to recap the full events of Alan Wake, its 2 expansions, its standalone sequel, Alan Wake's American Nightmare, and the events of Control's second DLC, AWE, which firmly places the Alan Wake franchise in the Remedy-connected universe.
So yeah, so what I'm going to try and do, as far as I can, no promises, but I'm going to try and get to the point of American Nightmare. And after American Nightmare, if the Control part hasn't come up yet, I might quit there, because I'm going to play Control myself. I have seen it, others might have seen it, but I just want to do it for completionist's sake. And because I'm excited to play the second game, and I want to try and experience the story as much of it as I can myself. It's just, American Nightmare isn't exactly, at least I believe it isn't exactly a lot of fun to watch from a viewer perspective. Anyway, that being said, let's continue the video.
Without further ado then, let's dive right in. As Alan Wake's story kicks off, our titular protagonist
also, Shady, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer them. No promises that I will have all the answers, because again, there is a second game, there is DLC, but I have invested a lot of time in this game. I like it, and I'll try and answer what I can.
In a good place in his life. He is a renowned and successful writer, but after having spent years of his professional life writing crime fiction about a hard-boiled detective named Alex Casey, Alan has grown dissatisfied with the commercialized nature of his work. Wanting to write something that appeals to him, on a more personal level, he's killed off Casey's character, though things haven't exactly worked out for the writer the way he would have hoped. For 2 years now, he's been suffering from crippling writer's block, and that has been taking a toll on him in his personal life as well, with his relationship with his wife Alice seemingly being on its last legs. On the advice of his friend and agent Barry Wheeler, Alan and Alice leave for a vacation, hoping to fix their marriage and help Alan get over his writer's block, and head to the small, remote mountain town of Bright Falls, Washington. Upon arriving in Bright Falls, Alan goes to meet a man named Carl Stuckey, from whom he's supposed to retrieve the keys of the cabin where he and Alice are supposed to be staying. Instead of Stuckey, however, Alan is met by a mysterious and more than just a little creepy old woman garbed in black attire fit for a funeral, who hands him the keys. Alan and Alice reach the cabin, which is on a small scenic island in the middle of a local volcanic lake called Cauldron Lake, and this is where things begin to go
I also just realized that the lake is called Cauldron Lake, with the witches, with the bird leg cabin, the whole witch thematic, and it's Cauldron Lake.
Monumentally wrong. At the cabin, Alice tells Alan that the reason they're here in Bright Falls is because she wants him to meet with a famous local psychologist named Dr. Emil Hartman, who specializes in working with people of an artistic persuasion. Alan doesn't react to this very well, and in a fit of rage, he storms out. While he's cooling down, however, he hears a commotion coming from inside the cabin, along with cries for help from Alice. He rushes back in, only to see Alice being dragged out and pulled deep into the lake by something that can only be described as supernatural. Alan jumps into the lake after his wife, though he instantly blacks out. When he wakes up, he finds himself behind the wheel in a car that's crashed, with no memory at all of how he's ended up there. Not long afterward, he starts getting swarmed and attacked by vicious, shadowy creatures, while also having repeated encounters with a mysterious figure in a diving suit who keeps leaving behind pages of a horror novel titled Departure. That, curiously enough, is a name that rings a bell for Alan. It's the name of the novel he'd been planning on writing next, but could never actually get around to thanks to his writer's block. And when he reads the pages of the manuscript, he realizes that not only have they been written by him, even though he has absolutely no memory of writing them, but also seem to be describing events that he's currently in the middle of. The shadowy creatures that he's been fighting off using light as a weapon, for instance, are referred to as the Taken in his pages, and it seems they're actually the people of Bright Falls who have been possessed by an unknown dark force. Alan also has a run-in with Carl Stuckey, the man he was supposed to meet when he first arrived in Bright Falls, but upon learning that he too has become one of the Taken, is forced to put him down. Soon, Alan is able to make his find Bright Falls sheriff, Sarah Breaker, though when he tells her about what happened to Alice in the cabin, she tells him that there's been no cabin at Cauldron Lake since it sank in a volcanic eruption decades ago. Believing him to be having a mental episode of some sort, she takes Alan to the police station, where his friend and Agent Barry also arrives not long afterward. At the police station, Alan is also visited by Dr. Emil Hartman, the psychologist Alice had arranged for him to meet with in the first place, who suggests to him that a stay at his psychiatric hospital at Cauldron Lake Lodge could help him. Alan, as you might expect, doesn't take kindly to that suggestion and punches the doctor in response. Meanwhile, at the station, Alan...
Oh, to be fair, at the time it might be like, okay, Alan, you have issues. You need to calm down. In hindsight, that punch feels so good.
Alan is contacted by a man named Mott, who claims to be Alice's kidnapper and tells Alan to meet with him alone to discuss his demands for her safe return. Alan and Barry meet with Mott, who tells them that in exchange for Alice, he wants all the pages of the Departure manuscript. Giving no explanation as to why that's what he wants, he flees from the scene, and Alan and Barry soon set out to start collecting more pages of the manuscript. During this time, Barry also explains the Cauldron Lake cabin's history to Alan. Decades ago, in the 1960s, it was owned by a poet named Thomas Zane, whose fiancée, Barbara Jagger, drowned in the lake, while not long afterward a volcanic eruption destroyed and sunk the island, killing Zane in the process. Curiously enough, however, all of this was only ever recorded by a local woman named Cynthia Weaver, who's now viewed by everyone as something of a recluse. Alan and Barry's search for the manuscript proves successful, though not without caveats. On their search, they cross paths with Robert Nightingale, a former FBI agent who's been investigating Alan for quite some time for reasons unknown, and seems to be all too willing to kill Alan without a second thought. He's able to escape the crazed former agent's attempts on his life, however, and runs to the meeting point where he was supposed to hand over the manuscript to the kidnapper. When he arrives, however, he sees Mott already meeting with someone he recognizes, the creepy old woman who handed him the cabin's keys all the way back at the beginning of the game. And she's no ordinary woman, as it turns out, and has Mott in her grip using otherworldly dark powers. Alan witnesses Mott telling the old woman that he never really kidnapped Alice, and that he'd just been following orders from his boss. We'll get back to him in a bit. In the chaos that ensues, the old woman, or the dark force, or whatever she is, attacks both Alan and the kidnapper, and Alan is, once again, hurled into Cauldron Lake, at which point he loses consciousness.
Also, on a side note, I will say that at the time, I was like, I do agree with Tates. I don't necessarily think that this game needed a remake, because despite its age, the graphics held up really well. But seeing the remake, having just played the original, I can see the update in quality. Was it necessary? No. Did they do a good job with it? Yes.
Again. When he comes to, he finds himself in Dr. Hartman's psychiatric hospital, where the doctor tries to tell him that he's been experiencing a psychotic break, a rejection of reality triggered by the drowning and death of his wife, and that everything he claims to have experienced since then has merely been happening in his mind. Alan thoroughly refutes this notion, however, concluding that he's being
Excuse me.
deceived. conclusion he arrives at with encouragement from fellow patients Odin and Tor Anderson, who are former rock musicians who say they've experienced with Cauldron Lake's supernatural elements, and that he's definitely not crazy. Soon afterward, the hospital is attacked by the Taken, and amidst the chaos, Alan is able to escape with Barry's help. While they're escaping, they also learn that Mott was hired by Dr. Emil Hartman, who was trying to use him to lure Alan to himself. Apparently, Hartman is more than familiar not only with the properties of Cauldron Lake, but also with the power that Alan's writing has to change and manipulate reality. His goal was to harness that power for his own purposes. After Alan and Barry escape from the hospital, they finally begin putting the pieces together and learning the truth about what exactly has been going on in Bright Falls. He also gets back to his memories of the time between him jumping into the lake to save Allie and him waking up in a crashed car. A week that he has no memory of, but one where he apparently wrote the horror novel Departure. As it turns out, Cauldron Lake is home to a mysterious, extremely powerful entity known as the Dark Presence, and the lake also has the power to turn works of art into reality. It is this power exactly that the Dark Presence has been trying to use to try and escape from the lake and out into the world. Back in the 60s, it tried to use the poet Thomas Zane for the same purposes by pulling his fiancée, Barbara Jagger, into the lake, who it turns out was the creepy old woman Alan has seen a few times now. Zane used his writing to bring Barbara back to life, but after realizing that it wasn't really her, but an approximation of her containing the Dark Presence, he decided to undo his mistake. Through his writing, he caused a volcanic explosion that sunk the cabin and the island it was on, while also killing him in the process, sealing the Dark Presence back inside the lake, and leaving Jagger, the old woman, or this demonic new version of her, behind. It also revealed that the mysterious figure in a diving suit that Alan had seen leaving behind pages of Departure was Zane himself. And what about the events of present day? Well, as you may have guessed by now, it was the Dark Presence that kidnapped Alice, and has been manipulating Alan into writing Departure, hoping that through his writing he'll try to get her back, and release it in the process. Soon, however, Alan and Barry are arrested by Robert Nightingale and brought to the police station. The station is attacked by the Taken, however, with Nightingale being taken and consumed by the Dark Presence. With the help of Sheriff Breaker, who now has no option but to believe Alan and his seemingly deranged...
Also, I will say, at the ending of Alan Wake, the one thing that I did catch that I didn't catch originally was the fact that Nightingale was still in the darkness behind the boards where Rose was holding the lamp, which to me kind of like says Rose will be the new Cynthia Weaver, and Nightingale will become one of the faces of the Dark Presence. So I am curious if those two are going to resurface in Alan Wake 2, and I'm excited to see that.
claims, which of course are not deranged after all, Alan and Barry are able to escape, and they quickly make their way to meet Cynthia Weaver, the woman who wrote and recorded the events of the volcanic eruption that destroyed the cabin decades ago. Weaver tells them that Zane left behind the means with which Alan could defeat the Dark Presence.
Excuse me.
Interestingly enough, something that has also had personal meaning to Alan since his childhood, the clicker, which is a simple light switch, but purportedly has the power to defeat the forces of darkness. With the clicker in his possession, Alan dives into Cauldron Lake once again, where he finds himself in a surreal, twisted, shifting alternate dimension known as the Dark Place, a place that is prone to being manipulated by works of art that then manifest in the real world. In the Dark Place, Alan encounters Jagger, the Dark Presence's avatar, and using the clicker, he's able to defeat her. At this point, however, he realizes that he must not repeat the same mistake Zane made, that as a dramatic work of literature, the story that he has written and manifested into reality must end with balance, which Zane was unable to do. Using his writing, he helps Alice escape, freeing her into the real world, but to strike the aforementioned balance, traps himself in the Dark Place. He ends the story with the words, "It's not lake, it's an ocean." That is where Alan Wake ends, though we see him again, trapped in the Dark Place in the game's 2 post-launch expansions, The Signal and The Rider, which reveal that while trapped in this horrific reality, his mind has become fractured. With the help of Thomas Zane, Alan is able to fix up and get a grip on himself again, following which he decides to start writing again, and use his writing to escape from the Dark Place.
Wait. Those are bonus episodes. I should have those, but I haven't played them. I might need to check if...
One of those attempts is seen in the game Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which sees him writing scripts of a supernatural anthology TV series called Night Springs, a show that he actually used to screenwrite for in the real world early on in his writing career. Alan Wake's American Nightmare sees the titular writer having to face off against an evil, maniacal doppelganger of himself known as Mr. Scratch, who is obsessed with taking everything in Alan Wake's life away from him. At the end of the game, Alan is able to defeat Mr. Scratch, just not as permanently as he would have hoped, though his attempt to escape from the dark place proves to be an unsuccessful one, and the first of many, as it would turn out. From here, we jump forward several years and arrive...
So all of this is control, so I'm probably going to leave it off here. But let me go back to... That is... Oh... I do have the special episodes. I never... So... Yes. In order to create the balance that was mentioned, someone had to stay behind. Someone had to take Alice's place so that Alice could leave. He decided to do that, and as he is there, he keeps trying to escape, although apparently I still need to learn about that, which we learn in these two episodes. I didn't know that. I didn't know you had to get that way to here. So I'm not even done yet.
Previously on Alan Wake, something I only know as the Dark Presence held my wife captive and used her to make me write a horror story that came true. I'll bring her back. Some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story.
Alan?
I saved Alice and wrote a better ending for the story. But not without a price. I was trapped somewhere in the dark place, a strange zone somewhere beyond our world. It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
So, apparently...
After the completion of any difficult undertaking, there are mixed emotions. Accomplishment and relief. Sadness, depression. For a while, everything was about the work. Like an illness that consumed you, changed you. You locked yourself away from the world to do it, and now you need to recover. Learn to live without it. Find a way to crack open the door and let the light back in. I knew this place. It was familiar, but wrong somehow.
Welcome to the...
Everything had a surreal, dreamlike quality.
I can't believe it.
I had a disturbing feeling
I got
of
the
deja
cutout from
vu.
the bookstore when
I
they
had
took it
no
out the
idea
window.
why I was here or where I had been before this moment, but something was waiting for me at the back.
So this is... So, these next two chapters are things I have no clue about. I'm going to talk for a little while the ads run. I knew that there were two extra episodes, but I always misunderstood them as being the last two in the game, but apparently they were DLC. However, with the PC version, they came with the game. They were DLC you had to buy for the console versions of this game. I don't know what to expect. I don't know how these two chapters are going to go because I've never played them, but I am excited to get through to them. But based on the video, apparently what's important to know about Alan Wake American Nightmare... I will say, I might play American Nightmare for myself. I might even stream it for you, Shady, if you want to see it in the future. Because I am curious to see how that entire story would end. But I'm not going to do it on stream because I think it's kind of boring and it is a long process to get through. But I think the things that are important from American Nightmare are who Mr. Scratch is. The fact that it was also an attempt of Alan to escape by writing himself in an episode of Night Springs. And I think that's about it, because after that he immediately went to Control, and Control is something that I'm going to play through on stream, so the things about Alan Wake we're going to learn then, we will see then. But yeah, this is new content, and I'm actually very keen on playing it, because I can't believe I actually missed out on playing this originally. Because it never just dawned on me that I could go into episodes and, see, because I had finished the game. I thought there was nothing else. So it is, in turn, thanks to that video we just watched, that I realized, oh wait, there's actually parts of the original Alan Wake I have never played. I'm curious what they're going to do there. So apparently I don't know everything about this game. Before I said I've invested a lot of time, which is true. I did invest a lot of time in this. It's my third playthrough, first time on Nightmare. But I didn't realize there were extra episodes that I hadn't played. And there is a deep sense of deja vu, because this is how the original game began. And now this is how the extra DLC begins. But we're about ready to continue, so let's jump in.
Try the coffee. Just don't blame me when you fall in love, because it'll break your heart when you have to leave.
Here is no longer human. Nothing but black coffee under a thin layer of skin.
Do me a favor, Sonny. I could really use a tune right now. Number 6 in the jukebox. I'd do it myself, but both of my legs have gone to sleep. Bad circulation. Yeah.
Are you serious? Again? You disgust me. Call yourself a rocker. Unbelievable.
You put...
Just because we're brothers, don't think I won't murder you in your sleep.
Yes, that's my favorite tune.
Shut your mouth, you demented has-been. If I had my hammer, I'd shut it for you. Jeez.
Tune number 6 in the jukebox.
Now there's a song for you.
It does that. Get stuck. Yeah, you need to give it a good solid whack. Now that's what I'm talking about, yes!
This is it. I'm dying and gone to hell.
You can kind of see through them.
Go in there, young man. You can hurt yourself in the dark.
Alan, listen to me. Go no deeper.
What?
Focus. You're losing yourself. I will try to help the best I can, but it's up to you. Find a better point of contact.
What do you mean?
I cannot hear you. Please, you're the one making all this happen. Concentrate. This is what's happening.
Nightmares. Too deep. Can't take the pressure. It's too much.
Suddenly, Wake found himself face to face with himself. At the sight of myself, The dream suddenly became lucid. The dark place. That's where I was.
You will need weapons. It's not the light itself, but what it represents. You will need it. This is not a gun. It is a tool in a logical process of elimination. Be careful. I will try to find a better point of contact.
I didn't understand Zane's message, and knowing where I was didn't fix anything. Something had gone wrong after I had finished departure.
Mira? Wonder who Mira is.
What the hell was that?
The diner had become deserted. Then the door was smashed off its hinges and Wake had to fight for his life.
Whew. Okay.
Zane! Wait for me!
The world had become twisted. These trees didn't belong here.
Well, this is going to become mind-blowing. Since the laws of reality don't seem to apply here.
I knew it was my writing, but the words were jumbled dreamlike fragments. Reloading frantically. The rounds slippery stones thrown away from the tent. The bed looked inviting, but it was just the radio. I had to go on. She was startled by the phone. The GPS system was working. I hadn't expected that. Hello?
I'm trying to reach you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Listen, I can help you, but you're drifting deeper. I can't reach you. You must come to me. I can't maintain the connection. Use the words. Follow the signal.
It made no sense for the GPS system to work. I doubted any satellite was in range here. These were alien skies, but it was guiding me towards something. Towards Zen?
Well, these are going to be fascinating chapters. But they're all going to be about light illuminating words.
Something had shifted again. The dark place was playing tricks on me. It wouldn't stay still.
The town itself turned against Wake. Cars flew toward him. It cracked bone and crushed muscle. It oozed hate. It wanted to bury him.
Dealing with cars is a lot easier than smaller objects. I like what it. Oh, hi. Ow. Apparently someone's playing Baldur's Gate, and that someone is Silver. That was a... Yeah, these are going to be more difficult than the other parts of the game because this is all new to me, so I don't know what to expect. But I am curious to see where this is gonna lead.
Everything I saw was familiar, and yet it wasn't. Hello?
I cannot keep up. You're going too deep. I will try to guide you. Follow the signal.
I'm trying!
You must face yourself. Follow me.
Oh!
Okay.
The GPS system was supposed to lead me to Zane, but the shifts were interfering with it. I had to keep trying. I wouldn't survive alone.
Let me guess. Can't enter? Yep. Might be able... Nope. I was like, might be able to enter there. Nope.
The changes were becoming more violent. The street wasn't so much ripped apart as it was missing. Like some great hand had reached down and scooped it up. Everything felt erratic, unstable.
Huh. All the characters are around here as if writers themselves. Interesting.
Where are you? Look, I'm trying to follow your goddamn signal.
The dark place is playing tricks on you. You're still going deep. I'm trying to guide you, but it's hard.
What is this?
I can help you if you just stop sinking.
What? This is bullshit.
It's happening again. Brace yourself.
I was running after Zane. He was telling me I was going too deep. It was ridiculous, but I was more scared than amused. I felt like I was being hindered by an unseen force in ways I couldn't fight. All I could do was keep going.
Well, time to clamber around some more. Oh. Nope, nothing up here.
I remember this. This happened before we found Barry.
This is a pretty resource intense DLC, so I'm gonna have to be careful with what I have. I hear a clock. Ow. And another clock. Well, doesn't seem like there's anything here. At least not in this part.
I had to find the key to get the door open.
And get here in my little hidey hole.
I'm gonna give Pastor Howard a piece of my mind about this lock. Ugh, I told him to get it fixed. Wait, I got the door open. Run for it.
Give me one moment. Alright. Oh, Barry. Barry Wheeler, the literary agent with a constant ailment, the frantic sidekick with a hectic rhetoric, the owner of the most fashionable jacket ever made and the author of the indispensable guide to would-be agents everywhere, Blood from a Rock, When the Goose Starts Gold Bricking, presents a new collection of short fiction by Alan Wake. Included are classics like Errand Boy, as well as numerous mortifyingly clumsy early works buried deep in the disappeared writer's files. Never intended for publication? That's not the Wheeler way. Get yours now. Okay.
Changing, twisting, out of control. It was too big on the inside. He couldn't see the ceiling. Something was moving in there. He was lost. He couldn't find the exit.
Asshole.
God, not again.
The shifts were getting more severe. I wasn't sure if the place got bigger or I got smaller. The signal was going.
I do think since there is a checkpoint here, I'm going to call it up for now. I'm gonna see if I can do both chapters this, depending on how it is, either Friday or Sunday. But I have a lot to process. And I have a lot to learn. It's going to be interesting. But for the moment, let me see if there's anyone to raid. I'll see if there's clips, but I don't think there will be any. No, probably not. Nope. So, perfect time to set up a raid. Let's go. What is he playing? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go raid Yuguru. So with that, I wish you all a pleasant evening. Stay safe out there, Wastelanders. It's a dangerous world out there.